Veteran Al Jazeera journalist killed in the occupied West Bank. A state service for the slain Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh took place in the Palestinian city of Ramallah a day after she was killed by Israeli forces. Now, thousands of Palestinians attended the ceremony, which took place at the Palestinian Authority's presidential compound at noon on Thursday in the occupied West Bank city. Abu Akleh was shot dead by Israeli forces while she was covering an Israeli military raid in Jenin city early on Wednesday. President Mahmoud Abbas honored Abu Akleh and bid her farewell at the compound, where a large procession by the National Guard was also held. There is more in this report.
Calls are growing for an independent and impartial investigation into the killing of the veteran Al Jazeera journalist who was shot dead as she covered an Israeli army raid in the occupied West Bank. The Qatar-based TV channel said in a statement on Wednesday that the 51-year-old was assassinated in cold blood by the Israeli occupation forces. Another Al Jazeera journalist, producer Ali Al-Samoudi, was wounded in the incident, in which both wore helmet and vest marked press. Her death put the spotlight on Israeli attacks on Palestinian journalists and came nearly a year after an Israeli airstrike destroyed a building that housed the offices of Al Jazeera and the Associated Press news agency in Gaza. Early on Wednesday, Israel's prime minister said it was likely they were shot by Palestinian gunmen during an exchange of fire.
By the information we have so far, there is an unprecedented chance that the journalist was hit by Palestinian militants. But in order to get to the bottom of the truth, we need to have a real investigation, and the Palestinians at this point are blocking this.
Also on Wednesday, former Israeli Prime Minister and leader of the opposition in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, backed the Israel Defense Forces. First of all, I would like to give my full backing to the soldiers and commanders of the IDF, also for their fighting against terrorism and also against the false propaganda of the Palestinians. I condemn the lies against our soldiers, not just by those coming from the Palestinians, but also those that come from within, against us.
Unlike the Palestinians, IDF soldiers carry out professional and selective firing. A reporter who was killed was inside a battlefield. At this stage, it is not possible to determine from the shooting she was killed, and we are sorry for her death. In order to get to the truth, we have set up a special team that will clarify the facts and present them in full as soon as possible.
In the meantime, the U.S. Department of State often says that it has no higher priority than the safety and security of U.S. citizens abroad. But on Wednesday morning, Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh became the second American this year to be killed by Israel, a top recipient of U.S. military aid and Washington's closest ally in the region.